Yeah.
Good morning, guys. Welcome to episode 6 of Sunday Table Tennis Live with myself, Ryan Jenkins, and we got John and Keith back in. Boys, what have you been up to this week? What's going on? Murph, you all right over there? Bank holiday weekend, isn't it?
A bit long weekend here, so looking to get out for a few beers tonight. So hopefully the show doesn't go on for too long. And I'm only joking. It's great to be back with yourself and Keith, and what an episode we have for our viewers.
Love the blazer, Murphy.
I know.
Absolutely.
What's happening, Keith?
All good with me. Just had a mini heart attack, as you know. Liam sitting in the background, El Cameroon sitting in the background, computer froze. But here we've made it, so hopefully things from here go well. But no, all good, just working away and sort of looking forward to the episode.
Yeah, we got a big episode coming up. Keith, let's show the guys who's on today. So yeah, we got Liam Pitchford, Great Britain number 1, obviously number 12 in the world previously, at number 15 at the moment. What a great player. And we were just talking just before we came on air about it's quite easy sometimes to forget how good a player Liam is because we know him quite well. We see him quite often on the circuit. We see him all the time. And even with Tablelands Wales, the coaches quite often pick Liam's clips to send out to our players to match his short play, his serves, his backhand. And Keith, you're a big fan of the backhand? Liam's back in anyway.
No, absolutely. I mean, we were talking about it off air before we came on, and in my view, I think Liam has kind of revolutionised the game. With his backhand down the line, certainly nobody in the game does it as well as Liam, and I think that's a testament. You've got Hugo Calderano, a great backhand as well, but Liam has an unbelievable record against Hugo Calderano, so it's kind of, for me, best backhand in the game.
What do you think, John?
Yeah, from my side, it's just it's unbelievable to have Liam on the show. I think, I looked over today when I was out with Ashley Robinson earlier on, and we just discussing some of the things that Liam's done in the game. He's almost beat everybody. I think the only player in the top 10 in the world he hasn't beat right now is Fan Chendong. He's beaten Timo, he's beaten Malong. He's done everything as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, that's right. My brother was up yesterday visiting, and he said, when you got Liam, ask him about winning 6 titles, English titles, and is he interested in trying to beat Dez's record? So I did ask Liam on text, and we'll ask him again when he comes in. But for Mays won 1 title. Jean-Michel Savas won 23 or whatever. It's different for different people because different people got different goals. And Liam said, obviously, it's something that if it happens, great. But, we'll see how it goes, basically. So, but yeah, it'd be nice to have him on. Let's have a look at his highlights then, Keith. Here he is. How you doing, Liam? You all right? Good morning.
How's it going, mate?
You got the coffee there?
Yeah. It's finished though. I need another one.
That's right. What's it like looking back at those clips? Obviously, some of your best shots or your best clips. How does that feel?
It's nice. Yeah, I don't do it too often. Normally analysing my bad matches. So, it's nice to watch some of the good times.
Fantastic. I'm going to list some of your best achievements. Obviously, let me know if I've missed any or let me know if I've got anything wrong. Because it's come from the internet and from memory, so probably got some things wrong. Born on the 12th of July, 1993, highest world ranking at number 12, which happened in August 2019. Started playing the game at 8. Multiple national titles, a cadet, junior, under 21. And as I mentioned there, 6 times senior champion. You won the British Home Nations in 2009. In 2010, you were 2 times Commonwealth Games medal, silver in the team and bronze in the doubles. 2011, then you moved to Oxenhausen, the German Bundesliga. 2011 again, he beat world number 9 Vladimir Samsonov and went to England number 1 in November 2011. Part of the Team GB at the London Olympics in 2012. Then on to 2014 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, silver in the team, silver in the mixed doubles with Tintin, and bronze in the singles. 2015, last 32 of the world singles, beating Krianga and Apollonia on the way. Again in 2015, quarterfinal at the European Games in Baku. 2016, world team bronze with Paul and Sam. 2016, again, you reached the last 32 of the Rio Olympics and quarterfinal of the team event. 2017, Indian Super League winners with the Falcons, and you were most valuable player. And again, in 2018, runners-up in the Indian Super League, and again, most valuable player of the season. World Team Cup semis 2018, Commonwealth Games 2018, Gold Coast. Gold in the doubles with Paul Drinkle, silver mixed doubles with Tintin, and the team won the bronze medal. Bulgarian Open 2018, beating reigning world and Olympic champion Marlon. Then on to 2020, you beat the current world number 1 at the time, Xu Xin, in the Qatar Open semi-finals, then losing to Fan Zhendong in the final. Have I missed anything substantial? I know there's so many more, but we could have gone on for a long time. But anything substantial I've missed off there?
No, I think you've covered it.
I mean,
just didn't have to in that British Home Nations final.
Technology. What's happened? I've lost the link. Yes, you did. You gave me a bit of a hiding in the final. I think it was in Ireland, wasn't it? In the
yeah, it was.
In the was it 2009 Home Nations with Darius there. But yeah, even listing that, like I said, it's very easy to forget some of the great things you've done. We know the recent stuff. The team getting to the semis of the Worlds and the World Team Cup. You beat the Marlon Xu Xin. But when you look back over that, and you're still young. There's still lots more to come from you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've had some good results, especially in the team events. And I think, recently it's been a bit up and down, but, the last, before we went into lockdown, I think the last few weeks before that, I started to find kind of another level. So hoping to carry that on, when we get back playing again.
And again, like I said, my brother was up yesterday. We just chatting. You were coming on. Steve said, ask him about the English titles. He won 6, which is on a par with Paul Drinkle, Alan Cook. People obviously say about Des being one of the greatest players ever in Britain, etc. And he is, obviously, what he's done. Is that something that you would like to be remembered by? Or Liam's won 12 or 13 or 14, whatever it may be? Or if it happens, it happens?
Yes, I mean, I get asked it a lot, obviously 5 away still, so it's quite a long way away. But for me, I'd rather matches, he won the European top 12 and he's world number 7. I'd rather match him for that than English titles. But obviously, I'm going to play the English nationals every time I play. I want to win. So, if it does happen, great. But
sure.
We'll see how it goes.
I understand, because a lot of people, like I said, we asked Mays, he's only won it once. And he said, I got different things going on. And he wanted to be remembered by winning Olympic medals and world medals and European medals. So, yeah, that's obviously a great viewpoint on that. I think, Keith, you've got the first question for Liam and in our list of questions, but people can send in questions to ask Liam, can't they, as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're thinking is the feedback has been they want to get more involved. The audience wants to get more involved. So I guess, first of all, Liam, welcome to Sunday TT Live. You're our highest current ranked table tennis player that we've had on the show. And certainly, it's great because all of us have followed your career growing up. And, I think at the start of your career, I'd quite like to hear your thoughts later on in the show, but you always had somebody there to catch. You had Gavin Evans early on in your career, then you had Paul Drinkall, and we're just very keen to hear about your progression in the sport. But well, what a 2020 you had, Qatar this year. probably one of your most successful tournaments. You started off, you had a win over Alvaro Robles, then you had Samsonov. Obviously, you beat the amazing Xu Xin, world ranked #1 at the time. So you've had an amazing year. So I guess what the first question is, obviously the Olympics had to have been a big thought and a big part of your preparation. What's your current thoughts with how things sit with COVID-19?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I was playing well, and it kind of came at a bad time for me. The lockdown. I was hoping to continue my good form, but I think they made the right decision. They had to make a decision early, for the athletes, and I think they made the right decision. For me, looking at the positives, it gives me another year to reflect how my game is, where my game is, and gives me another year to prepare and be in my best shape. Maybe I was playing too well, and in the lead up to, you have to find where you want to peak, what tournaments you want to peak at. So it's good for me to go back and look at that and reflect on, how I need to prepare, how I prepared for Qatar and stuff like that, really.
How did you get in that sort of shape for Qatar? Was it something that you've done differently, something that clicked mentally?
I think it was probably a few months in the making, really. Towards the end of last year, obviously we changed coaches, and I started working with Gavin a little bit closer. I moved back home to Nottingham in January, so I could work closer with Gav. We worked on a few things in my game that he thought I needed to work on to make little steps at where I am now. It's all about finding small points that you need to work on to gain those extra points in a match, especially against the top players in the world. The first few months I was kind of still just finding my game, wasn't really feeling too confident in it, and then sort of I played Hungarian Open, and I just literally flew straight from Japan to Hungary. I hadn't played particularly well in the Japanese league, and then I got to Hungary and kind of just said, I'm just going to try and relax, give it my all. Went out in Hungary. First few rounds started playing really well, and then took a lot of confidence from that. Game started to click, and then I just kind of went from there. From Hungary, I lost in the semi-final, which was, good result. And then I went to the Nationals, won Nationals, and then basically got on the plane straight out to Qatar, and was just playing even better. So it kind of all just clicked, I guess, sort of towards the end of February.
Very good.
Amazing, Liam. Amazing year you've had so far. And I know I followed your career a lot, but I was surprised when you made the move to go and play in Japan. I know you've played so well in Hennebonnet in France, and I think you were one of the best players in the league there, and I know you're well settled. So, I mean, you made the move to go to Japan. What's been the positives and the negatives from such a decision?
I think, it was a tough decision. Obviously, a lot of travelling out there. I'd stay out there for a few weeks at a time and play matches. So it was, for me, I kind of wanted to get out of my comfort zone, really. Experience it in the lead up to Tokyo, get used to that, atmosphere, really. And every match out there, no disrespect to the French league, but there are some teams, that are a little bit weaker, and, maybe that I didn't need to be fully focused on the matches. Whereas in Japan, every match is basically against a player, not ranked top 100 in the world, but level of a top 100 player in the world. So you always have to be on it. And I wanted to test myself and see how I reacted to that, really.
So at the moment, there's a lot of youngsters watching this. You're their idol. Who was your idol as you were growing up?
I used to love watching Vladdy play. Ever since I got into table tennis, just what he could do with the ball, and how he just makes it look so easy. Still, at his age now, he just makes everything look so easy, and we all know it's not. So, I just love watching him play.
Got so much time on the ball, and as we said in previous podcasts, I was with him in Dusseldorf many years ago and watching him myself. The timing of the ball, knowing where the ball's going before it's actually hit and these sort of things, it's just fascinating to watch, really.
Yeah,
definitely. The evergreen. What happened, Jenko? Did you manage to hit him up to get him on the show at some point?
Yeah, he's thinking about it, but he's a busy guy, obviously, with his duties of the Athletes Commission and whatnot. But obviously spending time with him in Dusseldorf, I asked him once because we couldn't play matches at the end of the training, and I'd always been trained like you train, do exercises, play some matches at the end, and we used to do 4 exercises. That was it. So I asked the coach, Amzic, I said, I'd love to play some of these players, and even a friendly match would be great. No, we don't play matches because they got so many tournaments they're flying off to them, German League and German Cup, etc. And I said, so I said to Vladdy, can you play me in a match? I just want to play a few points against you. He said, yeah, okay. So played a match. I played the best set I've ever played in my life. I was swinging, backhands, forehands, just going for everything. I was 9-0 down. Couldn't win a point. So I just said to him, sorry, don't worry about it. Let's just go to the gym and you don't have to play matches anymore. I couldn't get the ball past him. He's great player.
I mean, talking about Liam, so Samsonov, Xu Xin, Fan Jindong, there's some amazing players out there, and you're amongst them at the moment. What would you say is your best game that you have played, and why would you say so?
I think it's difficult, to put a finger on, really. I think my match against Xu Xin, level-wise, I think I was up there, playing some of my best stuff. But for me, that match, I was tactically, definitely at the best I've ever been. My short game, my receives were, I somehow dominated against the player that's well known for his, short game, for half-long balls, first ball. It's very hard to stop him, and I think I did that for the most part really well. So I'd have to say that match.
What a game it was as well.
Amazing.
What a game.
Amazing. Yeah, Liam, we spoke in episode 1, and this is a really interesting one for me, being a coach and working with young players, and I'm sure it's the same for the other boys and for our viewers. We talked about being a good player and then becoming a great player, and like I said at the start of the show, you've almost beaten everybody. You've beaten all the great players of I know since I've been around. You've beaten all the big stars. When did you realise, or how did you become a great player from a good player? Just a player who could be there, but to being a great player.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a few points in my career, I think, that I've kind of. When I moved to Oxenhals, and when I first moved there, I started to really see a difference. I think I just moved there, and then I beat Samsonov in the Europeans. It was that year. Just being around, I was in the training hall with top 20 in the world players every day. Learning from them. So that was probably the first point, and then from then on, I kind of. I played some good tournaments, obviously World Championships when we won bronze. And then I think in 2018, towards the end of 2017, I started working more, with psychologists and more on the mental side of things. And then I found I made another big step, at the start of 2018. And 2018 was probably, my best year yet, results-wise. So yeah, there's been a few points. Again, now before this year, worked on a few things and made another step. So it's difficult to exactly put a finger on when, but there's been a few points where I've seen myself make a big step.
Because just watching those clips back there, I was listening to what you were saying. Watching those clips, can't help my eyes are darting to these clips and out rallying Kwianga back in the backhand and all these sort of things. Unbelievable. But to beat the current Olympic champion, obviously, is a great achievement in itself. How did you overcome the dragon?
It's I watched the match back, and it's still difficult to say because. I was 2-0. I think I was 2-0 late, 4 down. And then at that point, I'm thinking, all right, here we go. I was playing well up to then, and then suddenly I managed to come back into the match. I think there was a few points in the match. I don't know if you remember it, where he, I think the umpire pulled him up for a serve, and at that point, I saw him getting a little bit flustered, and he was getting a bit nervous, and I kind of just stuck in the game and. my tactic was to play him backhand. And I think, or I felt that at one point he wanted to show that he was better than me at backhand to backhand. And usually I wouldn't say that's his game really. And I kind of tied him up there, and I think he just got more and more frustrated really.
I mean, obviously momentum is a huge thing in our sport. And like you said, if someone gets a bit flustered, a bit uncertain, momentum then is everything. And you got to, but you got to take your opportunities, and that's what you've done over the last however many years recently. Is take your chances, close out the match, and it's having that belief in yourself, which you've got in abundance. But it's also the people around you. I know this goes back to John's question last. Is the environment as well? They've got to believe as well, and that's what is missing from a lot of people's games. Is you might believe yourself, but you've got to have the support mechanism around you as well.
Yeah, definitely, and I think for me, finding the right team at the right times is crucial. I've worked with a lot of great coaches, over my career. And you need to. For me, it was about taking what the positives from each coach and then developing it into my game really. And and even just support from family and all that behind you. You need people that are going to just support you no matter what really. There's going to be ups and downs in every sports stars' careers really. So it's about just trying to keep pushing through it, and at the end of the day, just keep working hard and trying to reach the potential that you can do. That's all you can do. Some people have a higher potential than others, and if you get the most out of that, then that's all you can do.
It's just like Jurgen Klopp with Liverpool at the moment. They might not win the Premiership. We'll see what happens with that. But
funny one on that.
Spurs are coming. They come in.
We put one of our quiz Wednesdays on our app, TT Fit, as who does Liam Pitchford support, and your good mate Paul Drinkle, whether he was doing it as a joke, he got it incorrect. So do you want to clarify, who do you support?
I'm a Liverpool fan. Liverpool through and through.
Nah, he's not a Liverpool fan, is he? Come on, get him off.
Champions.
Get him off the show.
What do you think about that, Liam? Just to get your thoughts on the Premier League, and should they get back to playing behind closed doors, stuff like that?
Yeah, I'm going to.
Should we just cancel the season?
No, I think it should be finished. Whether that means waiting until supporters can get back in, and then maybe starting next season a bit later. Mm-hmm. But I want to see it finished, because obviously we're going to lift the title, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you will.
You look very nervous there, Pete, I have to say. I don't know.
I'm not certain.
Yeah.
So obviously, Pitchford, we follow, you on Instagram and Twitter and all the rest, and we seen that you're out playing golf and whatnot. So, what does Liam Pitchford do in his spare time, outside of table tennis, but also in table tennis with regards to physical side of things, nutrition? Do you do yoga, that sort of thing? If you maybe give the viewers an insight.
Well, we're talking like in lockdown, or just generally when I'm on tour and stuff.
I guess generally speaking, to sort of reach the level that you've reached. Yeah,
well, obviously I travel a lot, so it's with regards to sort of fitness wise, it's about, I've got a fitness coach back here in Nottingham that I work with, and we just put a plan together for, when I'm on the road, where generally that's about sort of keeping a base level really, and then when I've got spare time, I come back and work with him. We go a little bit harder when I've not got tournaments and matches coming up, and then keep on top of things when I'm traveling. Obviously it does get tiring traveling a lot, and it's just about making sure that you're doing things to keep on top of what you need to and doing the right things. I started working with a nutritionist recently, sort of just before lockdown, and I've already found that even just changing small things in my diet does make a huge difference. I feel more energy and stuff like that. So, it's for the young kids, I think it's about making them realise there is more to table tennis than just playing on the table.
It's because over a big competition, Olympics, Commonwealth Games, whatever it may be, you have to be as good as you can be every single day. So like you said, small changes in diet or small, whatever the changes are, allows you to get, it could be recovery, ice baths, whatever, those sort of things, but will allow you to be at your best every single day. And that's what you need, don't you, for that long tournament?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even long days, sometimes at tournaments, if you're playing singles and doubles, you can play 3 best of 7s in a day. You need to be on top of your game every single set, really. So
any dip could be a bad consequence, obviously, of exiting the tournament.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we noticed, Liam, this week, big news on the international table tennis circuit, that you've just signed to play in Russia for UMMC. What's your thoughts there? We know that we've seen in one of your interviews that winning the Champions League is a big thing for you. How do you feel having signed that contract?
No, I mean, like I said, one of the main goals, obviously, I won the ETTU Cup with Hennebon. So the natural progression is to want to win the Champions League. For me, I think it's the biggest thing you can win on the club circuit in Europe. And with the club like UMMC, they've been there, they've been in finals, they've got a great team, and I want to give myself a chance to win as many titles as possible. All things well. I'm still going to be playing some matches out in Japan, some matches in Russia, so it's about finding the right balance. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the challenge.
Yeah. Definitely backs up what you said before about being out of your comfort zone. These are moves that historically haven't been taken by a lot of players. So I take my hat off to you, really. Things in Russia, such a big table tennis nation, produced loads of good players over the years. Take my hat off, to you to go down these roads really with Japan and Russia. Really good.
Yeah, no, I think definitely, and it's just about I can learn from, I want to learn from, take everything from everything I do, and it's just another experience to learn from for me, and hopefully, I think Japan helped me a lot. I think being out there and training with those players definitely brought I'd say developed my forehand a lot better. So hopefully, moving to Russia, playing, against the best players in the Champions League can do that as well.
What is it like in Japan, table tennis in Japan? What sort of things will people not know about? Is it on TV a lot? Is it,
Yeah, it's getting really big now. I think, obviously they've got a few big stars now coming through, chances of Olympic medals. So table tennis is getting big. They started the T League, which I think it's on Amazon Prime and out there, so it's pretty big. It's on TV. Every match is on TV, and they have like game shows, talk shows about table tennis. So it's kind of a different world to out here in Europe. So it's a bit crazy. People recognise me and stuff when I'm out in Japan, so it's a bit surreal, but kind of. Yeah.
Well, that's what we talked about in other podcasts, that table tennis doesn't get the recognition. I think we talked with Miz about it, that it's a shame that table tennis players don't get the same recognition as, say, tennis players do at Wimbledon and the Grand Slams, or obviously football is a massive sport around the world, but table tennis is a massive sport around the world, and it's time's right now for table tennis players to get recognised for all the hours we spend in the hall, for all the skillful attributes you need to be a table tennis player, physical attributes, and I think now's the time, really. It's a good time for table tennis.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I think the main point for that is we've just got to get it on TV somehow, make it viewable for spectators, make it exciting. I think the ITTF are trying to do that with the World Table Tennis. So hopefully the steps are being made.
Well, it goes into the next question, really. I know it's a big area, and just want you to summarise your thoughts on it, really. But what do you think England and Team GB, when you play at the Olympics, have to do as players, really, and for a table tennis nation to improve even further? Because there's been some great results, like England getting to the semis of the Worlds, Olympics quarterfinal. What's the next step?
I think we need. Difficult to say. I think we need to somehow, all kind of work together and start from the bottom up. I'd say, bar me Tom, Dave. After that, there's, especially in England, there's not so much coming through at the moment. And I think we need to change the whole structure of things. Kind of look at France, Germany, how they bring younger players through and keep them interested in playing, and then if we have that strength in depth, then obviously it brings the top players up even further. If you have somebody pushing, say, Tom, then he's obviously going to improve. He'll be pushing Sam. Sam's going to improve. He'll be pushing Paul, who's going to be,
That's right.
me. So, I'd like to think that we're on the way to, starting with the really young players and getting them interested, learning them more about playing at a high level. Instead of, I had to move to abroad, Sam had to move abroad, Tom's playing abroad. So yeah, I think if we can find that in the UK and then somehow start that, and I think it can grow, definitely.
So I think everyone's got their part to play. And we've talked about the smaller nations in the UK, Wales, Ireland, Scotland, doing their part, because if we can produce players of a certain standard, that obviously generates more competition within UK. Yeah, our best players have to go abroad sometimes to play, that's fine. There needs to be obviously progress in the British League and stuff like this. That's where we all played at one time. But it's hard to summarise in an answer to a question. But I think if everyone plays their part, then maybe John and Keith want to come in on this. And Craig alluded to it last week on the podcast.
And I think for me now, obviously we've all moved kind of back to the UK. We're more based in the UK. I think that can only be good for the younger players. When I was growing up, I had, Paul in the practice or Darius, players like that to look up to and try and chase. Whereas, the kids, we all moved abroad. The kids don't have anything to look up to and chase, really. So with us coming back, hopefully we can, the younger players can get in the training hall when we're there, see how we practice, know, what they have to work on to get to that level.
The times are good though, aren't they? Because obviously England got a huge heritage in table tennis. You were talking about all the previous world champions. Jill Hammersley was European champion. Then you got Des, Cookie, Prino, Matthew Side. Then there was a gap, where there was sort of a rebuilding phase. Now we're back to good times watching England players and obviously yourself playing on the top of the game. And it's nice to see from a Welshman and talking, can't talk for Keith and John, but I'm sure they're the same. Absolutely. And Craig was saying that it's great to have British players at the top of the world again.
Yeah, it is. And, I think somehow if obviously, producing players from Wales, Ireland, there are obviously younger players coming through. If we can get together and have more training camps together, I think that can help the development of table tennis in the UK. I don't think it needs, everything needs to be separate. And I think we have to work as one and, try and work with everything we've got. We're not at the moment, we're not going to be like Germany or France. We don't have the amount of players at the moment. But I think, making a step towards that can help everybody.
I mean, it must be an amazing feeling to think, you mentioned chasing players. It must be amazing to think there's only 14 people right now ahead of you in the ranking list. That must be an amazing feeling. And I guess, I'm sure you've obviously thought about it and it has to be part of your goal. But will we see Liam Pitchford winning a gold medal at either the Olympics or Europeans, or where's your thoughts? You've got to believe, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna go on to the match if I don't believe I'm gonna win. I don't think there's any point in that. Winning Olympic gold, obviously it will be tough. Not many players do it, so obviously it's a goal. Ever since I was a kid, I've wanted to do it. I think every athlete that plays a sport wants to win Olympic gold. With regards to European Championships, it's probably at the moment slightly more achievable. If I play well, which I've been doing, if I'm consistent, then there's always a chance. But there are hundreds of great players at the moment that also have a chance to do that. So, but I'd like to think it's possible, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my first memory of yourself was I remember you must have been 12 or 13. I could not believe the inner belief that you had. And to be fair, you're a very modest person. So clearly you can switch on that real inner determination because, coming across here, you're very humble and, your answers are very calculated. They're not. So it's quite humbling to see that, you still have that massive belief inside you. It's amazing.
Yeah, I try not to be too controversial, probably a few things that I could say that people might not like, but I don't think that's going to help anybody, so there's no point. But, I think ever since it didn't matter what I did, I used to play tennis, football, I just hate losing. Even now, I do anything, I hate losing, so I think that kind of gives me that inner fire.
Yeah.
Pitch, one thing from my side, I think most of your best results have come within a team environment. So you're obviously the character who is inspired by the likes of Paul and Sam. I know you play a lot with them, but it's been the same whether you played in the Indian League or whether you played in France. You've always had great results as a team player. Is there a difference playing as an individual and playing within the team?
Yeah, I think that there is, of course. If you look back and you have 3, 4, 5 people behind you, fully supporting you, stood up, you get kind of a buzz from that, a bit of a lift. Whereas, if you're playing individually, things aren't going too well. You look back, you've only got one person there, and if it's not going well, sometimes whoever's in your corner are also struggling to find, what you need to do to change it. Whereas, if you're in a team environment, things aren't going well, you've got 5 people just stood up anyway, geeing you on. I kind of, get a lot from that environment.
That image, big fist. When that fist is pumping, you can look out, boy. You can look out.
It was actually brilliant looking through the videos, pulling together some snippets. And it's remarkable how often that fist pump comes up. Yeah. So you know what? It's great to see because we were talking about it with Maze. And you know what? There needs to be more people like yourself, bringing that character to the table. That makes it more exciting. And I think you would probably agree. Maze was probably one of the greatest characters of the sport. And I think it really needs that, that charisma on the circuit.
Yeah, definitely. I practiced with Maze for the last 2 years in Copenhagen, so I know what character he is. And even watching some of his old matches, he was just cool, wasn't he? He brought cool to table tennis, and that's what we need again. I think at the moment there's the Chinese don't show too much emotion most tournaments, and the older European players again, probably not showing too much. So I think it's down to us as a younger generation to try and get that sort of atmosphere back and get people sort of get the characters and get people interested and try and tell a story from you as a player, really.
Who's your best friends on the circuit apart from the English boys?
I think obviously I lived in Copenhagen last 2 years, so I actually lived with Jonathan Grott when we were growing up in Oxenhausen. We lived together, so I've known him for a really long time. I would class him as one of my good friends. Eber out in we lived in Halmstad and then Copenhagen, so I spent basically 4 years together with him.
Just proposed a friend.
Jonathan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to propose? You anytime soon? No, is that on the cards?
I'm already proposed. I'm engaged.
Oh, there we are. Breaking news. Sorry. Yeah, the Times.
Missed that one.
Missed that one. Sorry.
You're off the mark yet again, Ryan. It's not
different generation. Sorry, boys. I'm not on this Instagram, Twitter stuff. I can't do it. Sorry, I'm not seeing it.
Just one off script. Who would you say is the best table tennis player of all time? There's an interesting debate. Some are saying Zhang Jike, Ma Long, Waldner. Where does your thoughts lie?
My opinion is Ma Long is the greatest ever. I know a lot of people are going to say Waldner. For me, just results-wise, he's won everything. He basically almost didn't lose a match for 3 years. I think he's world number 1 for 3 years in a row. Waldner, he changed the game 100%. But for me, he was beatable. I don't know if that was down to his concentration and stuff, or if he didn't take some matches too seriously. But that's why I have to give it Mark Long. The guy's just a machine. He'll go through anybody. It doesn't matter who it is. Yeah.
Any questions, Keith, from the public that come through on the Facebook
What I was
feed?
going to say is there is a couple of questions, but anyone listening in, if you want to get them in very, very quickly. So the first question is, let me see. I think we've actually covered this one. Who was your best/hardest player you've played against?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say Xu Xin again, because before that match, I hadn't won a set against him. I used to hate playing him. Struggled with his serves, struggled to, stop him getting in. So, yeah, actually beating him when I barely even took 9 points in one set against him was definitely hard.
Peach, I can't believe it's not Ryan Jenkins in the Six Nations final in Dublin.
I mean, that was tough as well.
I can't remember. What was the score there? Was it 3-2 or?
I think it was 9 in the fifth, wasn't it?
It was quite. Yeah, it might have been a close one. Yeah, but
I took
Linus is in the corner. I took Darius in the semi. I thought it was my title, but not to be. I went home empty-handed as usual.
Somebody else has asked. Your very first coach. Who was your very first coach, and what sort of impact have they had on your game?
Well, my very first coach from when I started in Chesterfield was Bob Porter. I don't know if you know Matthew Porter from Pitchford. Yeah. His granddad. Yeah, he first got me into table tennis, and then I moved on to Colin Deaton in Chesterfield, and then kind of. Yeah, gradually, as I worked my way into the England team, then I was with Jai for a little bit when I started to move into the senior team. He helped me definitely technique-wise, and then moved to Germany. And then since then, I've had quite a few coaches that have helped me in different ways.
And do you have a travelling team? Would you have people coming with you to every tournament, or is it a case that a lot of the time you are on your own?
Since Gav's taken the job, he's obviously coming to more tournaments and helping me out more and more, because we're spending more time together, in the training hall as well. So it makes sense. Whereas, John knows Marcus really well from before. We had Marcus Hoilberg as coach, and I think he's amazing in the table tennis hall. But we didn't have that, because he was only employed for a certain amount of days. We just weren't getting the time that we needed in the training hall, and it didn't make sense for anybody. Whereas now, I can actually work with Gav on a day in day out basis. I think it's just everything's just a lot easier.
It was interesting seeing one of your topics for tonight in the Pitch and Paul show is who can step up for British table tennis. So I'll be tuning in and listening to your thoughts on that.
Yeah, wait for that one.
There's another question here from Zach Early. Who does Liam think has the best backhand in the world?
Liam Pitchford.
Yeah, can I say myself now?
Yeah.
I think Calderano's obviously got a great backhand. I think it's a different kind of backhand to what I play. He obviously probably hits the ball a lot harder than what I do. I think for me, Putzar, great backhand. Very difficult to stop him playing that backhand.
Off-Trough, maybe?
Off-Trough, yeah. Of course, Kranger before. I played with Kranger for 2 years, and somehow, his backhand was... You could hit it from... you thought the ball was past him, and, you've got this backhand flying back at you.
Rocket launcher.
Yeah, so there's quite a few. I think backhand, obviously, people are developing it more. It's becoming more and more into the modern game.
Yeah. And
Keith, if I could just come in there, Keith,
yeah, of course.
Would you say that your backhand and how you play backhand is one of the biggest contributors to how high you've come in the world? Would you put that as one of your biggest weapons?
Yeah, 100%. I think how I play back is quite deceptive, so a lot of people don't really know where it's going. So obviously I catch people out a lot, backhand down the line. People always tend to step around really if they're forehand orientated. And I kind of use a lot of wrist compared to most players. Generate, more side spin in the ball, which, then sets up. If I play backhand down line with that side spin, generally I know the ball's going to come across court. So I can be ready for that. So I found a way to implement it into my game.
Where did that come from? Because I'm trying to think, before you, who played that shot better than you, and I can't actually think of anyone actually. So where did you think of that, and how did that actually come about? Where you focus so much on your backhand in an era where you grew up where it was predominantly forehands, it was all Chinese footwork, two-step forehands, and all the rest. So what made you sort of break away from the crowd and focus on that?
I think, ever since I started playing my backhand, I used to play tennis and I was kind of backhand dominated in that. And then when I switched to table tennis, it kind of just came natural. And then obviously when I moved into the senior team and was coached by Jai, he obviously tried to get me playing a little bit like Paul, forehand orientated and all that. And I kind of just said, it's not going to work. Like, I'm not the guy that's going to step around and riff a forehand. So, then he kind of understood that, I need to play backhands, and then learning from him to take the ball earlier, not give people time, kind of came from there. It's not about hitting the ball hard for me. It's about getting your opponent out of position.
Yeah, that's right. So, can we go on to the dream team, Liam? Can we get your 3 male and 3 female choices, obviously from different countries? You can be included, but you are the team manager, so it'd be a player manager at this point in your early career.
So I'm gonna have to put Boldner in there. But I mean, legend. Then I've got Marlong in there, because I think he's the greatest ever. And then I'm kind of stuck between Samsonov, because he's an idol growing up, or Wang Lichin, because I think he changed the game and sort of obviously led the way for Marlong to come through, and his forehand was something else.
Can you imagine sitting one of those down and having that talk with them, saying, "I'm really sorry, but
yeah.
You're in, but you're not in. Sorry, you got to sit on the bench."
Yeah, sorry, I bench you today. You're off. See you later.
Pitch. The only thing I can think here is Paul Drinkall is going to be crying in the show tonight that you haven't put him in the team. I think
he knows that.
Paul Drinkall hasn't found his way into that team.
He's like 5th on my list. He's next on the list to go in there.
And what about the women?
I've gone Deng Yaping, because legend. I've gone Ding Ning as well, and then I've gone Mi Marito, because I think she's a massive challenger to the Chinese. Fearless, and just kind of don't really care who she's playing. She just goes on and plays her game. So,
like you said about Japanese players becoming stars now, she must be one of the stars in Japan, ready for the Olympics.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think she got a chance of a gold medal. Why not?
Yeah, she gets stuck in there. Any other questions, Keith? To finish off,
let me just check. Do a quick refresh. Laura Hart.
Oh, I can hear some guitar going on there. Something's going on in the background.
Must be the big man getting ready. Laura Hart, if you could change one rule in table tennis, what would it be?
Change one rule. Good question.
Play with 2 bats. Be right down left going on.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we need something just kind of make it more spectator friendly. I don't know what rule you'd bring in to do that, but something along those lines to get the crowd more, have longer rallies, kind of, something to get that going.
Yeah.
What about the rules in UTT? would you see some of them rules coming into the big international tournaments? Would they make a difference?
Yeah, I kind of like the, when it's 10-all, it's just one sort of deciding point. I kind of like that. Speeds games up, and it brings some atmosphere. It gets spectators involved. It's 1 point. Who's going to win? Everybody's nervous. Kind of brings some excitement into the game. So I don't know if it'd work for an actual ITTF tournament. Who knows? But be interesting. Yeah.
We've got one more question, and then we'll leave it at that. Do you think any of the up-and-coming European youngsters, Truls Morgaard, Sidorenko, Platea, have the potential to be world number one?
Good question. I mean, of course, they're still young. They've had some amazing results recently. I played together with Truls in Japanese league. Great player. I think table tennis these days, there's so many players. It's difficult, to say if they're going to be world number one or not. Especially with this ranking system, so hard to overthrow the Chinese. You have to be getting to finals or winning every tournament you play. To be world number one, so it's not going to be easy. But yeah, I think if they keep improving, of course, there's always a chance.
Fantastic. Well, Liam, thank you very much for getting up your time. You're a busy guy, even in lockdown. There's loads going on. Hopefully, it's been a nice interview to just to reflect on your career and see.
Thanks for that. Thanks for having me, lads.
No problem at all. And take it easy. Keep going. Keep working hard, and we'll be watching.
Nice one. Cheers.
See you later. See you, Liam. Take it easy.
See you later. Cheers. You too.
There we are, boys. So,
legend.
Yeah, that was good. Good insight into his thoughts. Good insight into. Didn't realise he was getting married, so I dropped a bomb there. But you picked it up for me. Well done, lads. Kept me going.
We'll put that down to your fan again this week, Ryan. The fact that you just didn't do your homework. You weren't like me, studying all week for this show.
Oh yeah, studying all week. Keith, come on. This is a two-man band. This is. Murphy goes AWOL for a couple of days, and then
Murphy just walks in as if he's going for a job interview. I know, as quoted by Paddy Guy.
Well, from one star to another, I think we better introduce our next guest.
So who have we got, lads? Let's welcome the one and only El Cameroon.
Cameroon, woo!
There he is.
Hi guys, how's it going?
What's the news?
What's the news?
Yeah, what's happening in lockdown?
Working, playing on my robot, cutting my own hair. I'm going for a bit of a mullet.
Very good.
Rune, is your forehand still about 2 miles an hour, or what's going on?
Yeah, I think I've increased it to 2.5 miles an hour with all those balls in the robot. So
I bet you give Murphy a bit of trouble with that forehand back in the day. So what's he on about there?
I used to get bored waiting on that forehand, to be honest.
A float serve and a slow forehand is the winner.
Jenks had a bit of trouble with that in Wolverhampton Grand Prix, didn't he? Jenks couldn't manage that.
Thanks for bringing that up, Jenks. I was hoping that would arrive.
I know. Well, you gotta speak about your positives, and sometimes you gotta chuck in the old grenades. So I came a cropper that day. Then the old Cameroon fist was running around.
There was a lot of fist that day. Yeah, I think I tried another 55 times after that and never got close. But I think that one, and I remind people when I meet them.
You do. Let's go for news of the week, Keith.
News of the week.
There we are. So my news of the week, guys, is the further postponement of the World Championships in Korea, which was meant to happen in September. It's not going to happen. It's going to happen probably early 2021. So ITTF have taken the decision to postpone it even further. John and myself were hoping to go there. John, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's sensible. Given where we all are in terms of preparation, it would have been very tough for any national team to be prepared for September in the best shape. And I think for a world event like that, we want all the countries in the best shape. So I think it's very smart from the IDPF, and I look forward to hopefully being there with Team Australia, and as you are with Wales, Ryan.
That's right. We'll see how it goes, John. We'll see how it goes. What's your news of the week?
My news of the week is it doesn't matter whether post-COVID or anything like that, Team of All is still on the top of the tree. They had a Dusseldorf Masters this week, and Timo came out on top. I know he beat the likes of Anton Schellberg, Christian Carlsen, and he beat Stefan Mengel in the final. So yeah, it just shows that he was obviously doing the right things in lockdown, and he's come out just as he went into the crisis. And Timo is as good as ever.
Timo's the cream always rises to the top, as they say. Keith, you got some news for us?
Yes, so we talked last week about bringing our show to Spotify and to Apple Music and all the rest. So we now can access our podcast from Spotify. So we have all of the 5 episodes up, and the 6th episode will be going up today as well. So if you want to hit us up and get us followed, that would be great. Talking of Spotify, you're probably wondering why Niall Cameron, aka El Cameroon, is sitting with a guitar strap in front of us. For some of you who didn't follow the social media during the week, Niall is going to bring to us a couple of tunes. But before we do that, Niall, what is your news of the week?
Hang on. Sorry. Didn't we say just before we came on that what we're going to say? Niall, El Cameroon, and we agreed on Neil. So where did Niall come from? Keith?
A bit of everything.
Jesus Christ.
My mum's listening. She's not going to be happy.
So what's your news of the week, El Cameroon?
News of the week is myself and Stephen Gertson are looking to start a new competition, the Elgin Open 2021. Elgin's my hometown in the north of Scotland. Steve now lives nearby in Inverness. He's got a club there, so it's going to be a big competition, big prizes, big night out afterwards. So
there we are.
We're expecting big things.
Is there a Guinness tap there, Mr. Roon, in that venue?
What's the question?
Is there a Guinness tap in that venue? That's the question.
I still don't know the question.
He wants to know, is there Guinness there for him?
Oh, is there Guinness in Elgin? Yeah, we can sort that out here. We've got Guinness up there, no problem.
I think Murphy's about to miss his Tinder date here if we don't be quick.
Excuse me, my mother is on this.
Oh, tell you what.
This could end badly for Ryan Jenkins, to be honest.
Right, moving on.
You did tell us Neil, just before you come on that Ashley Robinson's going to steal your bird if you don't hurry up.
Keith throwing him under the bloody bus here. Right, let's crack on with Mr. Cameroon's lovely song. He's going to play us.
We'll run the little clip while Cameroon gets set up. He is our star of the week. Let's have it, Cameroon.
Well, I remember what your sister told me Christmas Eve. Secret words that your mother said about catching me. I wish that she never told me, 'cause I can't get you out of my mind. Long hair and the youngest child, it conflicts with conclusions of mine. But I know, yes I know, with the light in your eyes and the smile on your face, tears that you cry when your boyfriend's away, way that you laugh, the silence you hide, misunderstanding just what you like, what you like. So it was all or nothing for me, no mean nothing at all. Been asked some pretty awkward questions lately, like, is it a girl or a boy you're looking for? And I don't know what I'm supposed to say or what I'm supposed to do. Guess I'll wait for another week or so, or a year or two. For you, with the light in your eyes and the smile in your face, tears in your cry when your boyfriend's away, way that you laugh, the silence you hide, misunderstanding just what you like, what you like. Sometimes I dream of dying, but it's never alone. Now I wish I could sing a proper love song, pain, pretty boy. If I could have done things a little different, then I wouldn't have got involved. I would have turned my back on your sister and never listened to her. I know. Yes, I know. Inside every bone in your body, kindness falls. There's a heart full of patience and forgiveness, so much more. Gotta get over this little obsession, cause it's hopeless and it's wrong. Never mind, I got this encompassed, I never meant it wrong. I feel you. With the light in your eyes and the smile in your face, tears that you cry when your boyfriend's away, way that you laugh, the silence you hide, misunderstanding just what you like, what you like. With the light in your eyes and the smile in your face, tears that you cry, boyfriend's away, way that you laugh, the silence you hide, misunderstanding just what you like, what you like.
What a legend.
What a legend, yeah. So you can get all those songs on El Cameron's Spotify channel. Neil, thanks very much for coming on, playing your song. Really great. Yeah. Good to see you. Hope you're keeping safe in lockdown and everything, and hope we're all back in a hall pretty soon, playing each other, or at least seeing each other and chatting. But there's a British feel today, guys. We had Englishman, Scottishman, Irishman, Welshman. We're all together this time. Great.
I know, it's brilliant. But I've got to say, big up to Cameroon there. Not everybody would come on in a rookie show like ours, give us a live performance with pretty poor audio. So I tell you, fair play, Cameroon.
Right, cheers, guys.
Thank you very much. See you later, Cameroon.
Cheers, see you, bye.
So what's coming up next week then, Keith?
Next week.
So yeah, next week we got Will Bayley on the show. Obviously, he was our star of the week on week 2 with his face masks. So he's been doing particularly well. Obviously, Strictly Come Dancing, going for the Paralympics next year. Can't wait to see Will Bayley. What about you guys?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've been following him on Facebook, and I've seen he broke £20,000 worth in sales for his masks. So he's obviously putting in great effort at the moment to obviously help the NHS, and obviously, coming from his dancing background recently, he's obviously had great outreach there. So no, it'll be great to get him on. He's Olympic medalist. He's obviously had a very tough time, upbringing, and it's just remarkable how his character and how he still wants to help out so many people. So really looking forward to it. All
right, great. Well, it comes to the end of the show. We had a great chat with Liam. Yeah, it was great to talk about his career. El Cameroon's come on, obviously give us a song. Keith, John, stay safe, and we'll see you next week on another Sunday Live. All the best.
See you later, guys. See you, John. Enjoy Tinder. See you.